Good afternoon. I too, like Jameson, realize the predicament that I am in here, but I feel that I'm a little bit worse off. Not only is it Sunday afternoon, but now you've already listened to a few sessions, and now you've got to listen to a guy that many of you have no idea who I am. You see my receding hairline. It's blinding. And not only that, you have the Dursts that are coming up after me, and we know they're exciting. So you're just trying to make it through this one. And I understand. But if you'll bear with me for 5-10 minutes, I'll do my best to go through it quickly. I told the Lord, I said, Lord, why do they need to hear from me? I believe Brother Buckler and Brother Durst have been mining God, and I have been challenged, encouraged, and blessed by their ministry this weekend. God is doing mighty things, even right here at Central Pennsylvania Youth Convention. But I also know that if one person were to get encouraged or could relate to my story, I feel that it'll be worth it. And even if not, that's not the case, I know that I'm minding God today, and it's going to be worth it. And it's going to be worth it. If you turn to Psalms real quickly, turn to Psalms 34. I'm going to go ahead and read through, and you can look back through. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt His name together. I believe we did that in this place today. I sought the Lord, and He heard me and delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto Him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear Him and delivereth them. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in Him. I was the poor man that cried out. And thank God He heard me and saved me from all of my troubles. I tasted and I found that my God is good. He is good. If you don't know me, my name is Timothy Ellis. And my grandfather is a holiness pastor of Wesleyan Holiness Church in Collier, PA. A great man of God. Someone that I highly respect. But my mother, and Lord knows her, she's trying now to mind Him. But at one time in her life, she chose to do her own thing. Made some choices that affected me and my sisters, but chose to go against God. And growing up, I'm not here to set a pity party, but I'm here to just tell you a little bit of my story, a little bit about me. But growing up, we moved. There was never a school that I went to 2 years in a row. We moved from state to state, house to house. Pretty much whoever she was seeing or talking with at the time, we moved in with them. There wasn't much stability. But something that I recognized early on in my own life was the fact that I wanted pity. I too, just as Jameson spoke earlier, thought of myself as a victim. And I think the irony of today, my life, I would have loved to have had parents. Not trying to raise people up here, but I would have loved to have had parents like Brother and Sister Plank. Good, godly people doing their best to mind Him. But that's how Satan works. We heard this morning. That's how he works. He can make Jameson feel that he's the victim. He can make me, on the other scale, feel that I too am the victim. But I just want to tell you, and I'm not going to dive too far into this because I don't have a whole lot of time. But I just want to tell you, God gives us exactly what we need. Exactly what we need. And it covers those wants. Because what we truly want is what He has for us. I think I had a Pap and Graham that prayed for me from the day I was born. I had an aunt and an uncle who took me in, good godly people that took me to church, took me to a Christian school. I had a good church while living with them, people and pastors that were present in my life. I had a teacher growing up at CCA, Carolina Christian Academy. We called him Mr. B. Great man. Someone that stepped in multiple times for me. I can remember times where after PE class, I was upset because things didn't go my way. And I'd sit back on the basketball court and I'd be crying. I was mad at how things went down, and he'd just sit down beside me, tell me that God had a plan for my life if I'd just surrender to Him. I just think that God gives us exactly what we need, and it covers that want that's in our life. I wanted pity. I wanted pity. And you know, people were all around me, there for me, pulling for me, helping me, praying for me. But it wasn't exactly the way that I thought it should happen. I wanted rescued, just as our theme is here. I wanted rescued, but I wanted to choose the kind of help that I would receive. I found, though, in the end of it all, the help that I wanted was the same help God was trying to give me all along. In James 4, it reads, "But He giveth more grace, wherefore He saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." I found that right there was a lot easier said than done. But once it was done, submitting myself to Him and His will, I got exactly what I needed in my life. You know, Brother Nick Ryan this weekend has already reminded us once before that it's not about us. It's not about us. It's all about Him. We need to learn to submit to Him. Jameson talked about being the victim, and sorry, but it's in my notes just the same. I too thought I was a victim, but you know, God wanted me to be the victor instead of the victim. And I needed to quit playing that card. I needed to quit playing that card. If you remember nothing else from this quick little talk, can you please remember this? If you want to be rescued, you must be fully submissive to Him. You've got to die out to self. You have to surrender all. We can't surrender almost everything. We must surrender everything. This old-fashioned way isn't a drudgery. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to serve Jesus. You want to get closer to God, you surrender your all to Him. Brother Durst made a comment this weekend. He said, this Bible right here doesn't restrict him. It doesn't restrict me either. It doesn't restrict me either. Young people, listen. Satan wants you to think that if you get to go and do your own thing and not listen to God, you'll have more freedom, you'll be accepted, you'll be approved by others. The irony is, if you leave God, you'll get the exact opposite. You won't be free. This Bible doesn't restrict me. It shows me how to be free. How to be free. Jesus is the only way. Jesus is the only way to be rescued. In Acts 4, it says, "Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved." Jesus Christ is the only way to be free and to make it to heaven. Are you minding Him even today in these afternoon sessions? There's a 2-word phrase that goes through our church in Allen Bank. Something that it's a small motto to live by, but it's just mind God. And as I sit in these services, I say, Lord, am I minding You? We should be asking that question. We should be asking that question. Jesus Christ is the only way to be rescued, so let's mind Him even now today. Let's mind Him. There was a hospital in London back in the year of 1903. It was a mental hospital. But it burned down. It burned down. There was a temporary wing that had been built that was erected out on the outskirts of it, and it wasn't fit to be housing anyone in, but they had it there. It was a temporary housing unit. But there, in that place, it burned down, and some 50 of the people staying there died as a result. But there were certain reports that had happened there and occurrences when the burning was going on as people tried to save different ones. And I thought it was good to point these out this morning and kind of just relate them to us and our life. As the great rescuer has been speaking to us this weekend, I feel there are still some that maybe are sitting back with their heels dug in. But it talks of when this place was burning down that some went in to help and to rescue and to save different ones that were there. But they said some, when warned, they laughed and refused to take it seriously. And I thought of us here. This is serious. This is serious. This isn't a game. This is heaven or hell. It's not a time to laugh. It's not a time to play games. It said that some refused to leave their beds or even attempt an escape. And I thought, Lord, don't let us stay in our sin bed. If you start to hear yourself saying, that isn't a sin. I don't quite see it that way. Can I tell you something this afternoon? That's just self. That's just self, and you need to submit to God. Anytime you say the phrase, I don't quite see it that way, or this isn't a sin, or you start questioning it, what are you doing it for? For your own self. You didn't do it to try to get closer to God. You're doing it for self. Can I tell you, remember, to be rescued, you must be fully submissive. You can't submit almost everything, and I know I said it once and I'm saying it again. You must submit everything. Surrender your all to God, and He will rescue you. If I were to finish my story, and I know I only touched real briefly on it, I felt that was all I should share, but if I were to finish my story, can I just tell you that God didn't want me to be a victim. That wasn't His plan for me. That's Satan. But there was an evening where I was home alone, and I had went through life wishing I had a better family, wishing that I had a family that would sit around the dinner table and talk about the day. I wished that I had people in my life that really cared, when truly the whole time there was people there. But one evening, as I was home alone, conviction set in, and I believe, beyond the shadow of a doubt, this was the evening that I had to get saved. That I had to get saved. I'm so thankful for God and His faithfulness and for second chances. And I believe there are multiple chances. But can I tell you, there comes a point when time's up. Time's up. I don't know what that is for you, but I feel very confidently that this night was it for me. And God was dealing with me. I called my grandfather and told him I needed him to pray for me. I ended up driving a little over an hour away just to be in his church on a Wednesday night. He had no idea I was coming, didn't even know why I came. But I was under such conviction, and I just wanted to be rescued. Jesus Christ was there the whole time. He had been knocking on the door. The help was there. I was the one that was denying the help. I was refusing the help. But this night, I knew it was time, and I prayed and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, I'm sick of me. I'm sick of me. And I feel there might be some here even this afternoon. You're just sick of yourself. You're sick of yourself. And that's where I was at. And I told the Lord, I said, Lord, if you'll help me, I want to do everything I can to serve you and to please you. And I can tell you, He rescued me that evening. He rescued me. I'm thankful for a God in heaven who cares, who knows, who sees each one of us where we're at in our life. And He's able to help each and every one of us. I'm thankful that I can claim and I can say that I am rescued.